Let's talk about winning the job. And up to this point, the last few lessons have been all about approaching prospects, starting your communication with them. So you've got the proposal stage where you're trying to engage them. They're responding to you, and you're having that first meeting. Then you're in a presentation mode where you're saying, "This is what I recommend we do," and hopefully at that point they're going to immediately say, "Let's get going," or you're able to close them and say, "When do you want to start?" And then you need to have that discussion about terms and settle in on a final payment. Sometimes you're obviously in your proposal, you have to put in what you're willing to work for, but don't be surprised if they ask you to lower it a little bit or change that a little bit. And if you do agree to lower it a little bit, try and get something back. So, I mean, this is not a negotiating course, but don't just roll over when clients are asking for something. So, because believe it or not, this might seem counterintuitive. If you give them everything they ask for without any pushback, it actually makes you look weak. It may make them lose some confidence in you. So, if they ask you to lower the price, you can say, "I could probably lower it 5%, but that would mean I would need a down payment to start the work," something along those lines. So you need to go through, like I said, after they've told you that they want to work together, you need to just simply work through the terms and the pricing, and that's going to be different for different freelance sites. I believe on Upwork the way it works, and again, some of this can change over time. But on Upwork, they need to award you the job, and then they need to fund the work, and you have to agree to the terms. So there's a few emails that go back and forth, but Upwork will guide both of you, the client and you doing the work, will guide you both through that. Just the one thing I would encourage you to do is to really consider insisting on an upfront payment of like 25%, or considering a milestone. So when I deliver the first part of the work, when I draft up the first article, or I do give you the schematics for the web page, or whatever it is that you say, you review it, and then you pay me the 25% or the 30% or whatever you come to. Milestones, again, are basically points in the job that can be identified and that you can both review and agree upon, and then they will release some of the payment. For some jobs it may not be necessary, but I encourage you to do it. I actually believe that even though they've said let's move ahead, until they've funded the job, until they've put the money aside in the Upwork or in the other freelance escrow account, which is just basically where that service will hold the money until they agree that you've done the job. You haven't completely locked it down. So I think it's important. Unfortunately, I had a situation where someone said, "Let's go ahead," and then they just delayed and delayed and delayed, and it kind of petered out. Now, thankfully, that was rare, but that can happen. So you're still in a way selling yourself at this point, and it's good to show some strength. Don't be a jerk about it. Don't say, you've got to give me 75% of the payment up front or I'm not going to do the job. But there's nothing wrong or unfair about expecting some of the money up front or be distributed in 2 or 3 payments across milestones. So hope that makes sense, and we're going to look next at actually getting into the work.